Welcome to Geek.Nerd.Tech on Black Hollywood Live. Today, Kendrick Lamars' new album. One more time, sorry. Sorry. Oh, we're live. I didn't know that. Oh, okay. Welcome to Geek.Nerd.Tech on Welcome to Geek.Nerd.Tech on Black Hollywood Live. Today, Kendrick Lamar has a new album. We asked the question: what if the San Bernardino attackers didn't have an iPhone? That was fun. And also, who you gonna call? Ghostbusters are back. Here we go.
You are tuned into Black Hollywood Live's Geek.Nerd.Tech.
Yeah.
Knows you.
Music that I don't know.
Man, were you a Lost Boys fan?
But I was not a Lost Boys fan.
Really?
I was being really serious when I was 26 years old for some reason.
Dang, man.
And I dropped out. Welcome to Geek.Nerd.Tech, the show we break down nerd culture, tech news from a black and brown geek perspective. You listen to what?
What's a Lost Boys track? Well, you got Redman, A Plus, and Cannabis.
Got it.
On the record. This is a dope record called Beats from the East from 97. Killer classic track. Spitting bars, just
right.
all just like, bravadocio
Right.
MCing,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's, okay, good. Good. So we have a lot to talk about today. We've got a lot of stuff in the tech space. A lot of stuff. We had talk Oscars. We got to talk some pop culture stuff in terms of the new Ghostbusters trailer, as I mentioned. There are tons of tech stories to talk about. But before that, I want to get into the thing that my computer just went dark on. The question that's been asked, like, what if, and in this whole debate about whether Apple should help the FBI crack this phone from the San Bernardino terrorists, or the San Bernardino shooters. The question is, what if it was a Galaxy phone? What if it was a Samsung Galaxy phone?
Right.
And what would happen then? And the answer is it's an interesting answer because it sort of bodes. It seems like Apple comes out on top of this argument, but if it's a Galaxy phone, they're saying that first of all, Samsung doesn't own any of the software at all. Doesn't provide any of the software. They just manufacture the phone, so right. Samsung wouldn't be a thing. They run on mostly Android and Google operating systems, and most of that stuff doesn't have encryption, or at least the level of encryption that the Apple phone has. So it probably wouldn't be an issue.
Right. I mean, like Google with their new operating system for Android, it's called Marshmallows, will have the encryption implementation in it, but previous forms of the operating system doesn't necessarily have it. And so the argument is that Apple is such a unique company because they create not only the hardware but the software, versus like Samsung is only a manufacturer of the phone. They don't create the software. They don't create the operating system. Google does. So
right.
You have all these different layers and different players that you kind of have to have this dialogue with from the FBI's perspective. You got to talk to the manufacturer. You got to talk to the software designer. And so like who is the question is who is actually responsible for setting up this type of encryption? Is it right. From the hardware side or from the software side? And so what the conversation piece is that it's from the hardware side, and that the FBI would have to go to Samsung just like they went to Apple to ask for them to create a hardware that would allow them a backdoor approach to be able to get information from someone's phone. Right. And I feel that Samsung or whoever would have the same sentiment, the same approach, same argument that Apple does.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Apple sort of getting I don't say a bad rap, but they're taking the sort of the PR, at least the political PR brunt of this by sort of like having the appearance,
right.
the very appearance that they are. The very appearance that they are aligning themselves with terrorists or not helping the FBI do what all they want to do. But there's an interesting thing. So on Bill Maher's show, Real Time last week, a week from today, he had the former head of the CIA and the NSA on, the only guy to hold both those positions. So he knows what he's talking about. He knows where the bodies are buried. This guy says that he has to side with Apple a little bit, like in one way. So like he has mostly side with Apple. Unfortunately, he says that as a security person, as a guy whose job it is to A, keep us safe, and B, break into other shit, he's like, all we do is look for a back door, look for a door. Yeah. He says, as soon as I know there's a door, my job has become 100% easier. Of course. So the second that I know that Apple has a door,
I'm going to go in it.
I'm happy. Now, and so the question is, you could say that the argument is, can the Attorney General, everyone make the argument that it's just a one-off case, like this just one iPhone in San Bernardino this one time. If they can make that case, it makes sense. But he says they really can't, because already, like, this other guy's like, I have 7 iPhones I need you to crack as well. And then guy in New York, I forget what one of the New York guys, like, I have 157 iPhones I need you to crack. So it's a Pandora's box.
Absolutely a Pandora's box. And that's the dialogue we've had on this topic, is like, once you allow it one time, like, it's going to be a floodgate, and there's going to be a demand for like you said, 100 iPhones or 100 phones, or then there'll be 1,000. It'll be like, just ubiquitous.
Right.
Oh my gosh, I can't talk.
You got it. and there's, look, and I get it. There's plenty of iPhones that need cracking. I mean, if you're in the security business, I'm sure that the CIA, NSA, like local government, state government, federal government, trust me, they got a room full. I got a room full of iPhones,
of course,
for Apple to crack. So once you crack that first one, how are you holding them legally to saying this is a one-time deal?
And I'm sure, like, there's a gazillion iPhones that they would crack with just the threat, just the possibility of someone committing a crime. They haven't committed it yet, just the possibility, or, I suspect that you would. Let me crack it. Let me just peek in there real quick. That's what the conversation is. You got to protect people's, intellectual property and their information. Like, it has to be protected.
And also, Tim Cook has said, and I don't know, actually, she said that people have said that it's kind of different situation if the people were at large, or if this is like they're at large and known to have, some explosives or a nuclear device. I mean,
right.
It's different if they're at large, but like to get, I don't know, it's a whole,
like a post-mortem is what you're saying, versus like it's in the process of something happening. Then maybe it would be a different conversation. But this is like,
if this were 24, Jack Bauer's running around there, Chloe would be cracking the iPhone.
Exactly.
I don't know. I got nothing. All right, so we're still in agreement on that. It doesn't really give anything new. Next story, Apple finally joins Twitter in socializing its customer service. I mean,
excuse me.
What do you think of this? So Apple's sort of on Twitter and able to sort of people to have, first of all, the notion that you can provide tips and tricks and everything on Twitter. Yeah. It's Apple support. It's a verified Apple thing, which is kind of cool. And also people can tweet at Apple support and get messages.
Yep.
I kind of like this, actually, because I think people. There's a lot of this on Reddit. There's a lot of this on, Google and some of these answers, Yahoo Answers, Ask Yahoo. I can't remember what it's called. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people aren't like on Reddit and in those spaces. But Twitter is pretty ubiquitous. To use your phrase.
Twitter's a great platform for this. You know what I'm saying? For brands to be able to offer the customer service to the consumers. Like, if you have a question, or if you want some troubleshooting, or you're not happy with the product, this is the perfect forum for you to be able to express that and have that dialogue with your brand.
Right.
And so I think Apple being in the space, I think, is a great move, because as Apple expands and has been expanding, like, their customer service is going to need to expand, because it's going to be newly adopted people that are using their devices and want to have questions and want to learn different things. And so this is a great platform for them to be able to get that information. And it's not the first time Apple has been on Twitter. They've done it for iTunes. They've done it for, I think, the release of the Apple Watch. But for them to have an actual Twitter handle just for this, I think is pretty exciting. And I think it was a stat going around that within like 2 hours, it got like almost close to 30,000 followers or whatever.
Yeah.
That's going to continue to grow and grow. But I think this is a great move for Apple, just to have more of an intimate connectivity with their supporters and their consumers, their consumer base. So,
and I agree, and I think there's also a larger sort of win for Twitter in this too, in that, like as you said, I mean, more and more companies are sort of utilizing Twitter for things like this. And if you think about what Evan and those guys, when they conceived Twitter, I don't know if they saw all these applications, but as the network grows and as the usage grows, not unlike Facebook, as it becomes a thing we use, you find other uses. So. Even 2 years ago, you wouldn't think of like Twitter would be the space where it reaches enough people and with enough frequency that that companies will go to Twitter to another company to help like be the network, to be the mechanism that they communicate to their own customers. I mean, Apple's Apple. Yeah. They have direct line to their customers. So the fact that they're on Twitter to be able to communicate openly to their customers says a lot about where Twitter's grown, I think. Right? Yeah,
I mean, why build something that already works? It doesn't require you anything but signing up,
Exactly.
So it's like, why put gazillion dollars into building this infrastructure when you could just use something that's already working and seamless?
I agree. That makes a lot of sense. So there's at CES there were a lot of we talk a lot about the Internet of Things. There are a lot of smart beds out there.
There are, brother. I'm sure there are. I got me a smart bed at home too, brother.
I got 1,000 jokes that I won't even touch. Especially anyway. Internet ready smart beds. So yeah, I mean, in a world of like, self-driving cars and drones and wearables, I mean, it's the same thing. And I think that like, what these smart beds do, I mean, I guess is they learn your sleep patterns, they learn where you're.
Sure, bruh. They learn your sleep patterns.
Your sleep patterns. I can't even get anything that's not ridiculously crude out without saying that. But so I think that the issue has obviously just been the connectivity and the price, and as they talked about, the Moore's law principle, smaller, faster, cheaper. People suspect that this will be something that is happening everywhere.
Yeah, definitely happening everywhere. I think the thing that's really unique about this story is that they figured out a way to kind of like, because this technology is not new. Like you could track and monitor and get the analytics of your sleep patterns through other devices. You would have to wear it.
Right.
It'd be all this uncomfortable stuff you have to put on your body, or you have to put additional technology into your own bed. But I like the fact that they've already incorporated all this into the product, and so it's seamless, and it's like hidden from eye view. So I like that part about it. But I think the greater story is that as we move further down the line with Internet of Things and how these devices start to communicate with each other. Like I read a statistic saying like now, like most homes in America specifically have about 5 devices that are connected. Within the next 10 years, each home will have about 500 devices. And so just our dependency on technology and just how these things will kind of curate a better experience for us in our home life. Like if you walk in, you want your light bulb to turn to a certain color to, acclimate or to correlate to your mood, or if you want the temperature to adjust, like the devices will already have tracked that information and be able to do it automatically just as when you walk in. And that's the future. And I think the conversation piece is how these devices actually communicate with each other, and like what is the connector between manufacturer A, manufacturer B. How do they talk if they're created by 2 different manufacturers? So I think that's the problem people are trying to solve in terms of how to expand that and make it more commonplace for people. So I think once they do that, like that industry is going to explode.
When you Google porn on your phone, the bed's self-adjusting. Like, I got nothing. All right,
you're out of control.
I got nothing.
Joe, your sleep patterns are
exactly. It's sleep patterns. Okay, moving on. I think I'm excited about all that. Again, I'm excited and terrified. Of all the machines talking to each other, knowing more about me and everything else than you. And then also the other thing which I was worried about is like At some point with all that stuff, so like say like my whole house collects a very very detailed information on exactly what I like and when I like it, be it from my coffee to the temperature of my ice cubes, to my oven being preheated, to the temperature of my house, to the way my bed sleeps, to the toilet, to the temperature of my shower. All this information. This information theoretically through the Internet of Things is stored in some sort of database. I mean, that's just also, it just seems like a violation if some hacker is like, talk about getting your information. They're like problem. Really in your life. They know your whole joint.
Exactly. That's a foreseeable problem in the sense that, like you said, you're getting this collection of information. Like, how do you secure that? Like what is the form, what is the device, or what is the platform that offers the encryption so that someone can't hack into your own personal information? Like, I think that's something that's going to be a challenge, because like all devices are different. So like, where do they go? Where does this information go? Like,
just think about what NSAs are able to do in profiling people and building a profile just off of social media stuff. Man. Like just off your social media, they can build an exact profile who you are.
Search warrant.
Right now, a kid is about to go to the store. Like they know exactly sort of what your habits are. Man. So, man, if they're in your home,
we have a search warrant for your bed, for your smart bed.
Exactly.
We want to know what you've been doing.
Anyway,
Joe,
no, not me. And also, it's the same thing with the cars and all that. What's happening in your car. I mean, there's a lot of you're leaving a footprint now that exists far beyond your social media footprint.
Oh man,
it's really interesting. So anyway, and then even further when we get into into wearables and biometrics and Google Glass. I mean, you'll know. I can just create an Achilles. It's like anyway.
On paper, you could.
Yeah. All right. So moving on. I just want to touch on this briefly. There's a new app, and this is one of like a series of apps that have been coming out. This is a meditation app. This one's called Headspace. Are you out of this? Listen,
man, come on, dog.
It takes you. Look, there's a free version and there's a paid version. The free version takes you on a 10-day, 10-minute per session meditation journey. 100 minutes to full enlightenment, Achilles.
Zenned out through my app.
So yeah, I mean,
okay.
Like, people kind of like these. I don't know how they would work. It seems antithetical to meditation to bring your technology into it. I mean, am I right or wrong?
That's exactly it. The whole point is to disconnect from your technology, to have time and space to reflect on your inner self.
Sure.
So inwardly, and so like still being connected to your device through an app. I get that it's helping. It's like a guide tool, just like if you popped in a DVD or a CD and you heard a voice saying how you're going to do this. Now I get that. But I think the point is not to be so connected to our technology, to our smartphones, our smartphones and our computers. I think we want to like get away from that. And so I get the concept, but I just feel like I don't think it's a working concept because you're still connected to it.
Yeah, I agree. It's interesting. It's I mean, headphones, meditation. I mean, we'll see. I don't know.
And then pay a subscription, $8. What am I gonna get? What am I gonna get for that $8?
The full curriculum.
Wow, thank you.
Just so you know. I mean, hey man, 10 days is not quite where you need to be. You need a full curriculum for $8 a month, and maybe by the end of the year you'll be fully.
Hey, meditation is free. I mean, just take some time.
$8
and breathe.
We're just gonna help you for $8 a month, sir. Just gonna help you out. So I mean, don't anyway. So Snapchat is the latest company to have had an employee data breach. Payroll information, all kinds of information that's been stolen. I don't want to necessarily talk about what happened at Snapchat, and just more talk about how much this happens and how it's almost like the goal of the hackers when a company gets to a certain point to publicly let the company and others know that we can get to you and no one's safe. It just seems to be a thing. Like, it's almost like I picture a group of hackers, those not Larry Ellison, but the McAfee guys with the mohawks and the gauge earrings sitting around, and they're like, yeah, Snapchat's reached 700 million, people. All right. Time to push the button and hack them. Just let them know. Yeah. I mean, that's the interesting thing to me.
I mean, yeah, I agree with you in terms of that. Like, we are definitely in, that frontier because of our dependency on stuff, and like everything is zeros and ones. So anything is hackable, and information is gold. Like, our information is being sold, on our social media platforms. So from the hacker's perspective, to be able to get people's information and commit various forms of fraud or whatever, you have more opportunity now to be able to get that type of stuff. So like with the Snapchat case, like, it wasn't that they hacked the computer. Like, they actually just did some old school hustling. Like, hey, some impersonation. Like, I'm a CEO. Pass me this information, and this person swindled an employee because the employee wasn't schooled to the game. So, like, I think that's kind of funny to juxtapose like the hacker that you're in your case that's actually using a computer and tapping into someone else's platform versus just someone
the old school grifter, the old school con man like Will Smith and Margot Robbie coming in and doing some confidence work.
Right.
I agree, and also this sort of opens a larger question of we blindly trust all of our information to these companies. Snapchat, give them all my info, my credit cards, whatever. Here's all my info. Thanks, Snapchat. Who the F is Snapchat? You don't know who's running Snapchat.
No, you don't.
What, some 19-year-old kid's in charge of all your stuff? So this is the thing. So it's like we have to really start to think about in this age of in this information age, the social information age, that a new company that pops up, like even Venmo. Like, Venmo pops up, everybody's like, Venmo's here. Here's my bank account number. Like, I don't know Venmo. Why? It's interesting how quick we are to run to and love a new form of technology, but don't take 1 second to think about how and where this information is going. It's just
once
culturally what we do.
Once your ass gets hacked and you have a fraud case on your ass and you have to go through the trouble of cleaning that up, then you'll be more cautious and not as lackadaisical when you actually do sign up and when you're actually on the platform, what information you input on there. Like, I think that's the thing. Like, just to, side on, be more cautious in terms of how you engage, through social media, how you engage through different apps, like what you put on your phone, like just,
Right. I agree. And last thing I'll say is that it's interesting what Snapchat's saying or kind of not saying that it's also a lot of human error in this involved. Well, like people having passwords like password or 1 2 3 4 5 6 and that kind of stuff too.
Yeah,
but but anyway, that's not anyone's fault. All right, so moving on. Google. We talk a lot about Apple Pay and Google Pay and all the different pays and and Google Pay is actually doing a lot in terms of there's that ad. I think it's Kevin Hart. Someone's just going and paying. No,
Kevin Hart.
No, but there's one. Yeah. Someone's paying. Is paying everybody for that. And I wonder. So their new thing is they're doing a voice activated one where you can just roll up and I'll pay with Google.
Right.
And I don't know. Not to just be. I'm sure it works. I just don't understand how it works.
It's not just that too. You use the platform and you upload a photo, and it does photo recognition based on their system will have a camera, and based on your photo upload to the Google Pay, like it'll do a face recognition to that photo to make sure that it's you, and then you're able to it confirms that, and then you're able to pay through that versus having to take out your credit card or money or whatever. Take out your wallet, you just go up and boop, 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 and it just does it like that.
It's interesting. So this is back to the question I just asked about the last story. Like, it seems like we do a lot. That's fantastic technology, but in a race to make all this dope technology, like, at what point do you have, are you equally as voracious in coming up with security for it? Because again, you're creating an entire network where you have cameras, you recognize your face, that's data that goes into some crazy server somewhere.
No, that's the thing with this. It disappears once the transaction is made.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't store it. It doesn't store it.
All right.
It disappears. Yeah, so they say, right?
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see.
But like all these things, man, is like very dystopian in terms of like where we're headed in the future. Like, cameras watching us, information, being collected, like all the things we talk about with Minority Report. You walk through a mall and it's offering you ads based on, what it's tracked you from the past. Like, I feel we're headed in that era.
Yeah, well, we definitely are. I mean, the technology is already here. It's just a matter of the implementation of the technology. Right. And also, back to the going away instantly. I think that's also one of my weird tech predictions is that will be the new sort of version of hack. Like, be able to hack into. We're not that far away being able to hack into your Snapchat app and every naked picture you send or every stupid message you send, having another server intercept that stuff and then save it. Like if I'm onto you, if I'm in your phone, Apple, if I got a backdoor into your phone and you're Snapchatting away and you think the thing is disappearing, but I'm actually recording and storing all that stuff. Like have a mirror going on another server. Like that's not unrealistic. So I don't know about this whole. I mean, I like the idea like it disappears, but again, how do we? You
don't know that.
How do we know?
Exactly.
Anyway, I want to talk about our good friends at DraftKings. Now, just because football season's over doesn't mean we can't talk about DraftKings because it's MMA time. Everybody loves mixed martial arts. So the only thing more exciting about being part of watching MMA is being part of it yourself. And this is what DraftKings lets you do. One-day fantasy for every major fight card on DraftKings.com. DraftKings is America's favorite one-day fantasy sports site where you can win huge prizes every time you play. Just pick 5 fighters, pile up points, significant strikes, takedowns, knockdowns, and more. So you actually bet on if someone's going to get knocked out with a kick to the head or a takedown or a choke out or whatever. Outscore the competition to be crowned fantasy MMA champion, square off against friends in a custom league, or join an existing one to pay off huge cash prizes all year long. You already know the fighters, you already know the matches. Now put your money where your mouth is, and you can win big. This isn't fancy as usual. This is DraftKings. Welcome to the big time. Here's what you need to do. Just as always, like in football, you can go to DraftKings.com right now, DraftKings.com. You can enter promo code GEEK for your first free deposit. That's promo code GEEK, as in Geek.Nerd.Tech, for a free entry now at DraftKings.com. That's DraftKings.com. Padow. So
uppercut, jab.
MMA.
Yep.
I mean, you know, that's a new way to do it.
Roundhouse kick.
Yeah, new way to do it. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Oscars. I mean, Oscars happened. They're over a week old. I mean, you know, there's a lot to talk about from the social standpoint. And when we talk about like sort of who the winners and losers socially, there are a lot of things that were sort of more popular than others, more shareable than others, things people were talking about. And whatnot, but I just wanted to get your general impression of just the Chris Rock and the monologue. And I mean, first of all, did you see it?
No.
Huh?
No, I didn't see the Oscars in full. I saw, you know, clips and highlights.
Did you see all the Chris Rock bits?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but I didn't see it. I didn't see the whole entire Oscars, and so I mean, I don't know about Chris Rock. I felt like on some things he was spot on. Other things I thought he could have been a little bit better. He could have expressed it better.
I mean, the degree of difficulty of that job in that room is extremely high. So I feel like I think it is. I think it's extremely high because of the expectation and responsibility that all the black folks, like, you know, you get it right. And all, you know, Hollywood's like, okay, what's he gonna say? And all of America's like, this is an issue. So it's a very serious issue, which you have to use the prism of the Oscars, which is the wrong place to talk about this.
I don't
necessarily.
think so. I think it's the right place.
No. I mean the wrong. I'm not saying the wrong platform because there's a billion people. I mean the wrong. There's a lot more important things than the Oscars to use as a platform to talk about this.
I don't think so. I mean, every Oscars they're dealing with some type of social political conversation.
Sure.
Like, I mean, even with this Oscars with Lady Gaga and like her song, like that's dealing with a major issue. Why is it not the platform?
I guess not the platform is a wrong to say. I guess what I'm saying is if this seems like a more serious conversation than the Oscars are. The Oscars are not serious. This is kind of what I'm saying.
I understand.
But that's fine. Yeah, of course. I mean, Oscars since Marlon Brando brought out the Native American woman,
exactly,
fake Native American woman, she's trying to be an actress.
I know.
To get his Oscars. I mean, this has been the place for politics. So exactly. I get that. It's cool. But so let me just real quick. So the monologue. What do you give grade? Like
a grade
on the monologue.
I grade him a B-.
B-, okay.
What do you grade him?
I give him an A- on the monologue. I give him A- on the monologue. B+, A-. I'm leaning towards A-. You know, wasn't as biting at the people in the room as I wanted it to be. I like he spread it out a little bit, gave Jada and Will some, and then gave. But I think this is he just completely nailed it with the sorority. The sorority line for me was like, you know, just the I just heard white people all over the world going, oh. You know, I mean, you know, Rhonda, we like you, you're just not a Kappa. I mean, that's just that is pretty much, it's a brilliant line. So that alone, he gets an A-. The first bit, our Oscar, black actors replacing Oscars, like, you know, Tracy Morgan and Carol, or I'm sorry, as a Danish girl. What do you think?
That was a good one.
That was a good one, right? Good to see all the folks. The going to Compton movie theater, talking to black folks.
Yep.
You like that one?
That one was cool.
People were mixed on that.
They were mixed on that.
People were mixed on that. I know a good friend of ours, Steve Barry, is
he didn't like that
livid about that one. Livid about, like, you know, see, our friend Steve Barry is British, but he's tends to lean on the side of, like, you know, older black folks. I'm like, wow. But he's the side of, like, you know, we should, you know, we should never say that word, or, you know, we shouldn't be showing us it's just coonery and buffoonery. The rest of the world's watching. They think that we're just a bunch of ignorant da-da-das. And I get that, but I just see it as, first of all, that's us. Second of all, it's sort of a rich tapestry. Third of all, it's funny in the context, and it's eye-opening in the bubble of Hollywood to watch these folks sort of like, you know, think that, you know, the Danish girl and Room are the most important things in the world, and that lady's like, are these real movies? Like, I go to the movies, like, you know. I don't. What did you think?
I mean, I don't share those sentiments. I mean, I don't share those sentiments that Steve might have as it relates to this topic, but in a general sense, I get it. Right. This sense, no, because for what you brought up, it is a part of our tapestry. It is a perspective. So it didn't hit me that way. I didn't have that reaction to it, or that irritation to it, you know?
Right.
So
okay, I got it. And then the Girl Scout cookie thing, last but not least.
I didn't. Wait. Which one was that one?
Oh, and you probably didn't see it. So he basically asked he told his daughter, did a bit about it's Girl Scout cookie time. His daughter loses to Susie so and so every year, but this year he's going to make sure she wins. And he's brought Girl Scout, did a whole bit where he walked around and sold Girl Scout cookies and raised $65,000 in the room.
Wow.
Which
I missed that one.
Which was funny and
Right.
great, but a lot of flack came because just across town, Lupita Nyong'o and our boy Ryan Coogler were also doing an event for I think it was a Black Lives Matter event.
Oh wow!
No, Flint, Michigan. I'm sorry, it's a Flint, Michigan. It's a Flint, Michigan event down the road, and they raised in that thing. They raised it's about $100,000.
No pub.
And no real pub,
Right.
but the notion that it's just something like this, maybe a missed opportunity, maybe it'd been too much missed opportunity instead of like saying, hey, reach in your pockets for some Girl Scouts. Say, hey, my friends Lupita and Coogler are having a thing. We need some money too.
Hey, I respect that,
an additional $64,000 would have helped the cause. I mean, that they got $64,000 for Girl Scout cookies
yeah.
and $100,000 for Flint
for clean water. Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, and that's splitting hairs after the fact stuff. I don't want to criticize him, but
I mean, overall, I expected more from him, though. I expected him to be, a little bit more
biting.
Yeah, a little bit more biting, a little bit more, just kind of like more, I don't know, more scientific in terms of his comedy, in terms of his delivery. Like, I felt like he could have gave better analysis in terms of what's happening with race relations. I think he it's like hit or miss, I don't know.
Yeah, it's look. I think that given I think he made the points. He attacked, like, if you walk down the list of like, okay, I've got to address the boycott. I've got to address me hosting. I've got to address the boycott. I've got to address some of the people in the room. I've got to address the institutionalized, sort of racism of the Oscars, which he did. Talk about like, why are y'all so mad? This 88th Oscars have been no black people been around for like 71 years. Like, what's this ain't new? Incorrectly talked about. That's another thing. Incorrectly talked about, like, we weren't protesting in the 60s. We weren't protesting the Oscars in the 60s because we had bigger things to protest about. That's a great line, and it's true. But the reality, we were protesting the Oscars in the 60s. Like, there were, like, big disturbances, in the Oscars for a lot of the same reasons in the 60s. So, but anyway, so there's a way to say that this problem's been going on for that long, and we've been protesting for that long. Anyway, I digress. Socially, people are really into, this is a pretty social, Oscars. I mean, like, people are really into, it's interesting about this because there's a lot of, people talk about the Super Bowl in terms of commercials and ads because of the who's watching, but the Oscars aren't far behind. There's a lot of like high profile commercials that get debuted.
I wouldn't say that.
I mean, I don't know, high profile.
Say that.
But I mean, but people spend a lot of time looking at these commercials, like the Colts commercial. I mean, not high profile commercials, I guess, but this is also a time to get eyeballs,
Yeah. I mean, because like we always talk about, like, besides, sporting events, like the awards is the only water cooler moment where people are actually watching live, and that's perfect. That's perfect for an advertiser. It's perfect for a brand. And so, I mean, I get what you're saying in terms of like the creativity, or in terms of just the traction they got from some of the commercials. Like, right. I understand that, but I wouldn't compare it to the Super Bowl. It's no comparison.
Right. Let's move on. So digitally, Kendrick Lamar digitally dropped an album. I mean, this is in our Geek.Nerd.Tech world. I mean, this hits all quadrants, Geeks, Nerd, and Tech.
Man.
I mean, Kendrick Lamar, arguably, one of the great artists of our generation, right this very second, who's on top of the world.
My generation.
I'm in it. I'm hanging on for the tail end of that. No, but yeah. So he dropped the album, and it was actually mostly sort of like, I want to call it a throwaway album. It's sort of like, it's called Unreleased and Unmastered. All the songs are untitled. They're titled by simply dates and like dates recorded.
Yep.
And so you get a sense of where in the timeline they recorded. And they mostly, maybe one or two could have come from the first record, but like they mostly all seem to come from this latest record,
right. Pimp a Butterfly.
To Pimp a Butterfly. So they all have that sort of same jazzy aesthetic. But I had it, I listened to it all night last night. I listened to like 3 listens. I love it.
Yeah.
This fits aesthetic. But the question I want to ask you is, again, we're talking about this new world where you don't have to do a press, a launch campaign. You don't have to do anything. You can just drop your record And if you want to just drop some songs, people might buy it or whatever. Like and people would. What do you think?
I mean, we talked about this I think last week or 2 weeks ago.
Kanye.
I mean, I feel like it doesn't have the allure or the sting that that it once had when, like I say, Beyonce did it. Like, it's almost to be expected now. Like I don't feel like, I'm so excited he dropped an album I didn't even know it was coming. Like, it doesn't have that type of it doesn't have that form, that special form. But besides that, like the fact that he is utilizing his content in this way, I think is great, because most of the time when people record albums, they have quote unquote throwaway songs or songs that don't make the album because of either licensing or because they were waiting for something to get mixed or whatever. So I like the fact that he's still able to use this to create, use this as a product to create conversation, to create expansion to his brand.
Sure.
I like that about it. And I haven't heard the album yet, so I can't really give a critique about the music, but I'm sure it's A+. But I think Kendrick is very smart, and I think this is just the prime to he's priming us for his next album, which I think is going to be even more explosive and electric. I feel Kendrick Lamar is the Langston Hughes of our time.
Wow.
I feel he's a true poet, and as he grows in his consciousness, I think the people that listen to his music will in turn grow in their consciousness, and I think that's the power of a true artist.
Yeah, so. I could not agree with you more. I was in my workout yesterday. I in my mix, the Black and the Berry came through, and I just found myself, really like I rewound it a couple times, because even though I've listened to the song a million times and heard the lyrics so much times, they just hit me in a completely different way as I was working out, and to the point of being Langston Hughes of our time. That's kind of the beauty of when you craft these words and you can read them, hear them, and then come back to them and then find new stuff and find different points of view, or your point of view may change, and so you read them differently, or your outlook may be sort of slightly skewed, so you read them differently. It's amazing. So yeah, good for you, Kendrick. Check it out. The Star Wars Force Awakens digital Blu-ray release is coming on March 15th, and they're doing something a little different in that they're recognizing that all this stuff gets released digitally and straight to video, straight to Netflix and iTunes and all this stuff, but like they're really holding on, Lucasfilm that is holding on to the idea of the physical release, and they're sort of trying to reward people for going out and actually buying a physical copy of the Blu-ray to stick in, into your Blu-ray player by offering a lot of extended digital content. I mean, look, on one hand, I'll get into my opinion, tell you what's on it, but like, actually, let me tell you what's on it. So it's a lot of that digital content. I mean, you've got like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 extra like featurettes,
of course,
including ILM, the visual magic of the farce, an insider's look into remarkable digital history of the movie's visual effects. Sounds familiar.
Yeah, sounds like something we did.
We may or may not have done something like that. But anyway, and deleted scenes. This is I'm gonna buy this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna 100% buy
would.
this on the 15th and have it and own it and watch the crap out of all this extended content, because I love it, and I will not. This is something that I will not just pick up on iTunes or stream on Netflix. Of course,
it's not even comparable to like say like the Avengers or like this is a collectible. This is an item you want to put on your mantle. If you're a geek, if you're a nerd, you want to have this in your office. You want to have this on your bookshelf. So it's not just the content. It's the fact that you'll have it in 20 years from now when you have a child or your son or daughter grows up to watch the next Star Wars. You'll be like, hey, I have mine.
It's like pulling out one of my dad's old vinyl, blowing it off and like putting it's the same thing.
Exactly.
We'll put it in the old antiquated out to probably pull out the Blu-ray player. Well, what's that?
What is
that? But yeah, it'll be there.
I like what I like about the story is how different retailers are, packaging, the DVD in different forms. Like Best Buy, I think, has the best packaging. Walmart has a different packaging.
Target
that's interesting how that's not uniform though. Like why do you feel that is? Like,
I'll tell you why it is. This is the cynical part of me. Money. Moolah, money. Because what they can do is, and I'm really surprised they're not, and I'm very surprised they're not selling different versions.
That would be stupid.
I mean, they do it all the time. Like Target makes these deals with studios all the time. They have, it is. I'm sorry, they do have it. I'm reading right here. Only at Target, exclusive bonus content. So sometimes they'll do like a 1 or 2 extra things they'll hold out for to make a deal at Target. The reason why they do this is
just to get people
Yes, the reason I do this, Target
might
will
wanna
come
get it
to
twice.
Target will come to them and say, we want the rights.
Right.
It's like paying for the rights for the NFL. So we'll pay you guys a shitload of money to be able to give us exclusive something.
Exactly.
And I go, okay, we'll give you a little BTS exclusive thing, and that's only for you guys. You guys can have your own packaging.
And then we'll
So
drop
that
the
way.
Best Buy one, which has even different.
And then Best Buy's like, we want some too. Okay, we'll do it for a little put. And then so that's just money.
Of course.
That they're collecting across the board from these giant big box retailers.
Of course.
And then, of course, if you're the true fan, you've got to buy
All three.
you know.
Exactly.
But or what are you missing? Or you want to know? And then all three packaging. You know, there's that. Separately, you know, a lot of the movie industry is sort of like the reason why the movie industry is in trouble is because, you know, a lot of that back end money was dependent on DVD sales and Blu-ray sales. And
So this is a good way to boost it up.
No one buys DVDs anymore. A movie could, you know, you could make Soul Plane and then like not make any money and then like make your entire budget and then some on the DVD sales.
Exactly.
So
go straight to Netflix now.
Right. So now there's not, I mean, the Netflix rights are not even comparable to the long tail amount of people buying DVDs.
Of course.
Star Wars is a movie that says, people will buy our shit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a Blu-ray. I bet you people will buy it.
Hell yeah.
And in fact, I'm gonna make one for you, Target, you Best Buy, and you too, Walmart, and everyone will buy them all.
Yeah.
So I mean, it feels a little greedy. It feels a little insidious. Like there's part of it's like,
How's it greedy?
Hey, fan,
you have a choice.
Hey fan, for you, we're gonna give you a special DVD just for you.
You have a choice to buy it or not.
I know. I don't call it.
You can
greedy,
buy it on
just,
iTunes. Like,
there's a
it's your
cynical part
choice.
of me that's like feels like I'm getting a little juiced by the folks over at Lucasfilm. But you know what? They're gonna get all of my money, and it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. I'm not.
Hey man.
They'll get all of it. Last but not least, I guess we got a couple more. But wait, that was a Game of Thrones thing.
Ghostbusters, bro.
Yeah. Last but not least, I'm gonna skip the Game of Thrones. Let's make this our last one. Let's talk about the Ghostbusters trailer has finally dropped. It is. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. I give the trailer about a C+ to B-. I give the trailer about a C+. And this now my caveat is I have 100% confidence in Paul Feig and this cast in this movie. I think that Paul Feig is just batting 1,000, you know, from all the way back from Freaks and Geeks and Claire and all that stuff. But even, you know, obviously his last 3 movies, Bridesmaids, the Heat, and Spy are all like pretty damn hilarious. I thought they're all very funny. So Ghostbusters with this cast and in this hands, who loves he's a student of the 80s and loves this era. I don't know how this is a miss.
I don't think it's a miss.
So, but the trailer. So I think the movie will be fantastic and funny. The trailer leaves a little bit to be desired.
I mean, I feel like I feel like it's just lightly dashed with olive oil versus just like blah 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 blah. I feel like it's just a tease. Like I don't think he's trying to show us too much. However, I do share the same sentiments with you. I didn't get a sense of excitement from it.
Yeah.
But I feel like the movie's still going to be dope and funny and entertaining. And maybe there might be another trailer. I don't know.
Yeah. The other thing about him is, you know, he's an R-rated director. His last 3 movies are R.
Yeah.
I mean, can he be funny in a PG? I'm assuming this is PG-13. That's a
good point.
I'm assuming this isn't R.
Maybe that limitation makes it less funny. You know, kind of like handicaps his creativity.
I guarantee you, if the Heat and Spy and Bridesmaids were PG-13, I would not be laughing.
Yeah, it wouldn't be as funny.
I would not be laughing.
He wouldn't have the flexibility to do all that he's doing.
Right. So we'll see. So this is a challenge because he's taking existing material already that people know and love. He's fusing his sensibility with his actresses. I mean, he's adding Kate McKinnon and Leslie Jones, who are amazing. But like, I don't know. I still have confidence in Paul Feig, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. What did you think about the actual technology play in terms of how the ghosts looked in the trailer? Do you think they looked pretty true to form?
Yeah. I mean, I saw Slimer in there from the old Ghostbusters. I see. You know, I like the effects look great, and I think that it will just continue to be. Well, what I liked about it is it feels like it's using the exact same looks and feel and technology as Ghostbusters 30 years ago, but just an updated version, which was a lot of like, you know, not motion capture, but a lot of like stop motion, a lot of photography, and a lot of like compositing, as opposed to just digital effects.
Right.
So I like that a lot. Right.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, so what did you think? I mean, so I know what you said, but what did you think of the just the Ghostbuster part of it?
The Ghostbuster part of it, meaning
the trailer, like the part of it, like where the nostalgia for like, there's the guns and there's the thing.
I felt like how it was communicated in the trailer was definitely like watching the original Ghostbusters. Like they set up the characters, they set up, you know, what the problem was, what the conflict's going to be, what obstacles they have, and then them, you know, kind of like creating the team. Like, well, we need the vehicle, we need this, we need that. Like just how it was originally unveiled in the original Ghostbusters. I like that, that nostalgic element to it, and I hope that it has the same comedic feel that, you know, the original one had. Like I hope that it connects to me as once it did when I was a kid, you know. But from watching the trailer, which I still agree with your assessment, I gave it like a C+ too. But it didn't really like make me like, yeah, I can't wait, you know. I was like, whatever.
I remember dragging my dad. I'm gonna go see it as a kid. You know, when I was 13, I was at the right age for that. I was like 13. And I remember like seeing it and then dragging my father to go see it. Like making like, you know, he's like, oh no, Ghostbusters. I'm like, no, you gotta see it. And he loved it. I remember like that was a real moment for me watching Ghostbusters and watching him love that movie. You know, as much as I did. So that's dope. So I definitely have a connection to it. So Absolutely. I hope the same thing. And I'm sure hopefully I have the same experience with my kids as well. So it means a lot. We bring this movie back from 30 years ago. The only thing I'll say is the question is, we know that this is supposed to not be like in the trailer. They said 30 years ago this happened and now it's coming back, but they've made a big deal saying these are different. It's a different world. It's a reboot. It's not exactly a continuation.
That part's confusing.
So that part's confusing. Also, we also know that Dan Aykroyd's coming back and Bill Murray and Sigourney Weaver. So
they're gonna make appearances.
How are they? Are they gonna play different characters? Are they themselves? This is an alternate universe. Like this is, you know, kind of like those are all interesting questions that. You know, hopefully they'll answer, but
for sure.
I wish they did a thing. I mean, I like the whole idea of the reboot, which it feels like the trailer is saying, like, you know, we should battle ghosts. But I like the idea of it, them being like 30 years ago, my dad, Peter Venkman. I want that, but you know, I want some connection to that. But
I mean, you got a whole generation of kids that don't even know about the Ghostbusters,
right?
So this is why this strategy works.
Yeah. So and of course we know, and they're very controversially, they're creating an entire Ghostbusters universe.
Right.
So they're having the male Ghostbusters.
Right.
I don't know if there'll be a more serious Ghostbusters, or if this is the comedic one, and there'll be, you know, franchises around and video games. So. I don't know. Everything has to be a universe, but there's money in the universes. But
I'm definitely gonna get me a whip though.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give me the Ghostbusters whip.
The hearse.
The hearse. Yeah,
you're gonna be in the universe yourself. Okay, that's all we got for this today. This week,
I got one for you.
Oh yeah, go.
Nina Simone trailer. Have you seen it?
No.
Oh my God, you haven't seen it? Well, you go see that offline.
Wait. I saw something go across my screen, Nina Simone trailer. And I thought it was for the documentary.
No. Offline, go see it. We'll talk about it next week.
Oh, I'm asleep. Yeah. I'm like, oh yeah, it was a great doc. Moving on. Why is it coming up in my feed now?
Yeah.
It's a new movie.
Yeah, that's completely off your radar.
Completely off my radar. 1,000% off my radar.
Study up, and we'll break it. We'll break it down next week.
What the hell? Breaking news to me. All right. Where can the people find you, sir?
They can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Achilles Shine, AKILISHINE.
And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Joe K. Braswell, and here on our sister network, AfterBuzz and the Blacklist, and Bates Motel launching soon. I am now Googling the Nina Simone trailer, checking that out. We will see you, Nina Simone movie. I'm sleeping. We'll see you all next week. Thank you very much.
From executives Kevin Undergaro, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us. info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I am the official voice of Black Hollywood Live, Scipio. Instagram me at KingXOBay. Thanks for tuning in.
Hollywood redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.